I was, okay, hello everyone, my name is Klodjana Skendaj, coming from Albania. As Mr. Joseph introduced me, I am a graduate of English language, and I have been, like, my experience in teaching has been like almost 20 years now. And my focus after within 10 years of time has been academic writing, and more specifically scientific writing. And this is a kind of a matter that it, let's say, evolved mostly when I started working for New York University in Tirana, which is a kind of university that has is affiliated with other universities worldwide under the name of New York. So it is, when I entered there for the first time, I encountered myself and saw myself in something that it was completely new for me and shocking. Coming from the, let's say, university, which had a traditional background on teaching, mostly Russian way of doing things, because of communism regime, because of several factors that were in there. I was never exposed as a student, let alone as a high school student, but mostly as a university student, to what it meant to using someone else's work. Now, for me as a student, it was pretty normal to go on internet to get the summary of a story, or to get an analysis from someone and interpret it. That was the maximum I was required to do. But when I entered in this kind of a world that it was completely new, academic writing was something that it really triggered me for the first time. And it was something that I learned myself on doing things. And usually I do this kind of joke that I was flying on a plane, that I was at the same building it. And it was something that, it was quite an experience. I learned the hard way, but here I am doing research over it. And since I've started my PhD studies at the University of Tirana for the same topic about scientific writing, the development, and the kind of comparison about the English language and the Albanian language, what it triggered me mostly to do is that when I receive undergraduate students, bachelor students at my university, it is the situation that they come when it comes to writing. And I'm not saying about literature writing. I'm not saying about something that you have to have the talent to do it. I'm talking about technicalities. I'm talking about the structure of a paragraph or a structure of a simple sentence. My language in the university that I work, it's English. So I presumed, okay, because of the difficulty of the language and so on and so forth, you could understand that the students had difficulty. But then I started looking further. I asked for an observance in high school of my choice to see what's going on when it comes to matter of writing. And as I entered in this 6-month, let's say, observance that I got the permission to do, was that...
Klodjana, sorry for interrupting.
Please.
Are you changing the
No,
slides?
I'm not yet. No
Okay,
worries.
okay,
Not
sorry,
yet.
sorry.
It's okay. And when I entered in there, I saw that they had what it was called as portfolio assignments, which consisted of 3 main assignments that I had to do in every course, in maths, in geography, literature, every kind of subject that they had. And when I was looking at what kind of structure were these kind of assignments, because they were written formats, and I asked even the teachers provided to me different formats and different framework. And I was like, what's going on? How come that a teacher of geography was telling me that I had to do it this way, history told me that I had to do it this way, and so on and so forth. So that was my incentive that I entered, and I wanted to do this kind of research. So if I had to go into the, let's say, map of my presentation, can you see this changing of slide now? Okay. I have, of course, the introduction, the literature review, which is quite interesting, and I have to say it, methodology, of course, result analysis, the discussions and the limitations that I had to face during my study. So when it comes to the introduction, that I entered in the world of going, like, trying to figure out what was going on. And if I have to, let's say, give a presentation of what a portfolio consists and what a portfolio assessment consists, is like a comprehensive evaluation of students' work, like specifically implying the framework of it, which includes a collection of best pieces, reflections on their learning, and evidence on their progress over time. This was the definition that it is generally accepted for portfolio assessments, for writing assessment in high school students. And I'm talking about Albania, but this is practically the same in every high school or in every country that I saw, especially neighboring country. But even elsewhere, when portfolio were the ones that created a Western world that created this kind of policy to have a better assessment of our students. So what is that? It was included in this portfolio assessment. It was a methodology that the teacher had to use. Normally they had tests and quizzes, but portfolio was the extra assignment that they had to do. Importance why the portfolio assessment is measuring skills. What is that it has to do? It measures skills. And I'm talking about skills such as critical thinking, evaluation of the sources, reproducing something that they have read in order to understand the analysis of a material. I'm talking about basic materials, but of course, it's a reflection of how matura students, what we call 18 years old or 19 years old or 17 years old, had to produce on their own. And what is that we have to say? It's usually an assessment in portfolios is crucial because it is a merge of several skills at the same time. So if I have to let's say cite something of the literature review that I get, is when evaluating a student's performance, it is crucial that the portfolio assessment covers all aspects of their abilities and conforms to the objectives of the course. So by doing so, all the educators can gain insight into various dimensions students' learning rather than solely assessing the end product. So it's a process. You have to value the process. But what I saw in let's say, actually on the terrain was completely different of the assessment and what is that I observed. So if I have to go through the literature review, this was a mixed feeling that I got. Most of the studies that I encountered were that they were trying to convey that portfolios are a good value added to the assessment process. And they were stopping in several studies that they have done in different authors from US, from Northern Europe, Turkey. So it was a mixture that I was involving in searching what was going on around. Most of the authors were of the idea that it improves certain skills, not all skills altogether, but improves certain skills. But what is that I saw in the other countries, apart from Albania, from the studies that I gathered, was that the reference to where the sources were gained was never into suspicions about, or let's say into doubt whether the student would comply in delivering where the sources was taken, or even let's say referencing the sources that they were taken. So if these kind of assessments were somehow not 100% fulfilling, in Albania was completely different, because none of the portfolios that I have actually seen myself were referenced or shown where the sources was done. Mostly was amazing pictures, great structure, a perfect Albanian or English. It depended on the material that I had to find. And again, no framework delivered. And it was just worked by the student and accepted by the teacher. That's it. So nothing to convey to the students that, okay, where did you find this information? Was it yours? Is it 100% yours? So students were never asked about it in this case, and they were free to do whatever they were like feeling to do in every course possible. And that was my shocking, let's say, situation. And then I came to realization. That's why my students, when they come to my university, they have no idea when I tell them, paraphrase this paragraph, summarize this paragraph. Can you give me the source of this kind of paragraph? Where did you find it? And that was a kind of a match that I have to come to realization. So most of the literature review that I encountered had the historical background of the portfolio assessment, and at the same time, a kind of, let's say, evaluation that portfolios are decent, portfolios are a good way to measure the progress of students, but contrary to what I see in my country. And if I had to go through the procedure that the Ministry of Albania had gone, there were two major steps that they did. One, it was about involving portfolios with 3 assignments per each topic. So if I gathered the subject of high schools, there are 15, minimum 15 subjects, multiplied by 3 portfolio assessments per term. It was an immense work that the teachers and the students had to do. And it was just a matter of, yes, I have to have a proof that you did something, but I can't control it because I don't have time to do it. So, okay, I got the perception of the teachers, but I didn't know what the perception of the students was. And of these 16 years old and 17 years old, what did they think about the portfolio assessment? Was it a tiring work for them to do? Did they actually learn about something, or what was their perception on it? So is it that I wanted to make an evaluation of what the Albanian scholars said about portfolios and what Western world or other researcher did about it? So most of the Albanian experts, as I even choose one in my PowerPoint, defended this kind of assessment methodology as the best one. And one of our scholars, Professor Jokutaj, has stated that project-based teaching introduces a novel approach to active learning that nurtures collaboration and continuous student research. So this was the trigger that I get. Is it research, or what they are doing, or is it something as an assignment, extra assignment that the teacher is asking? I have no idea about it. So these are the two evaluation, let's say, guidance that the Ministry of Education has delivered to our high schools, mostly our school teachers. That was of 2015, that if you had to measure the knowledge of the students, it was divided this way. Continuous evaluation contains 40% of the grading scale, test evaluation 40%, and evaluation through pupils' portfolios 20% of the grade. So if a student is required to attend, which is a maximum in our system of education, he had to go that 20% of his grade was his portfolio assignments. And the perception that I got is that, oh, it's easy, I can get the 20%. Nobody watches, nobody checks the 20% that I had to do. And seeing after critical rumors and turmoil that it got from the portfolios, the ministry was obliged to change again this framework of assessment deliverance to the high schools within the 2 years. And they went like after they did all these changes, they changed from portfolios with 3 assignments to 1 evaluation of curricular project, which is practically the same, but diminishing it in 1 name only. They do the same 3 portfolios, but they call it project because it's a sequence assessing. It's the same format, no guidance, no framework, how to do it, how to evaluate, what to look for, and what are the measures that they have to do. So the aim of my studies is describing students' high school perception of the importance and relevance of the portfolio assignments, identifying the importance of clear structure and guidelines in writing templates assigned to them, purpose, content, and benefits, and identify the guidelines and instructions provided to the teacher of high schools, Albania, and analyze their sufficiency in the teaching process and evaluation process. And my hypothesis were that students see portfolio assessments as busy work or repetitive. They see whether providing such structural guidelines can lead to improved writing quality. So I needed to see whether if they were offered a clear guidance and they were offered, let's say, an assessment process throughout the whole year or the entire year, let's say this would have become different, just like it was in Western, let's say, Western world process and deliverance of such an assignment. The one that I saw that they were doing, and they said that, see, it improves writing, it improves reading, at least one of the skills it improves. And the last hypothesis that I raised is that if the guidelines and instructions provided to high school teachers from the education institutions such as the Ministry of Education, but we don't have the resources. The teachers do not have the time and the assets to do it, because in major cities that I did the survey, minimum number of students is 25. And imagine 15 courses, 3 assignments per each student. So the multiplication goes crazy. So my methodology is that I did a questionnaire because I wanted to focus on the students this time. Probably my next research will be focused on the teachers and on the actual gatherings of the portfolios. Was that I did a questionnaire with 20 questions, and this questionnaire was distributed in 5 major cities of Albania. The ones that I wanted to gather the general perspective of what's going on in the schools and coming from the cities that we consider that they have a good value and they do invest in education a lot, mostly when comparing to smaller cities and stuff. That was distributed via Google Forms, and that was a kind of a limitation of mine because I couldn't, let's say, control the responses, but I just got the free voluntary responses of the students and high school students. The research findings indicated that students needed more guidance on the portfolio assessment framework, leading to prevalent academic misconduct. My core questions, apart from the one that was demographic about the age, about the country and everything else, was that do you do you reference the sources that you use? And quite prevalent of all the numbers that I got was that I don't do that. I don't cite. I use the images, but then I don't tell where I get the images. I use the information, but I just take it and use it as it is without any preparations to it. So furthermore, the study revealed that students needed help to create original written works and adequately distribute sources. The cross-tabulation that I did, I used the SPSAs to analyze my questionnaire, and with the help of a statistician, because I'm not an expert on the area myself. We did a cross-tabulation in crossing 2 important questions. Do you include the sources of information in the task portfolio? And if you could see that a quite significant number is never, I never use it. And do you include images or photos in different on your portfolios? They say yes, but it's still not using this reference to where this kind of information was taken. One other, let's say, prevalent question that I needed to take into consideration is that do I need to have an understanding of, is it the students that are that we usually call them lazy or layback or indifferent to such assignments, or it's because this kind of structure is erratic because they don't have an actual guidance on it? And if you could see, I am the most of responses of the students is that I'm free to use the format that I consider suitable. Which is, for me, it was, I knew it already on the terrain, but this was a reinforcement of what is that I got even from the students themselves and what is that I contained from them. Of course, other, let's say, evaluation coming from SPSS in, let's say, validating the questionnaire and let's say, this kind of questionnaires prove what is that everybody, especially in educator parts in Albania, knew it, but sometimes you need to have the proof in order to yell it in the proper sense that policies are made different, or let's say the institutions that are involved should be completely, let's say, seeing it in a different perspective. So the article discusses different assessment methodologies used by teachers to evaluate student progress, with a focus on portfolio assessment and project-based learning. It explored the impact of traditional assessment programs and the effectiveness of project-based learning in nurturing essential skills. And when I'm mentioning the nurturing essential skills, I'm talking about critical thinking, about evaluation of the sources that you get, and especially now, only this morning I read the results of PISA coming from Albania for Albanian students, and we were ranked the last when regarding critical thinking. So this is another extra, let's say, a sign that we need to change the way we do things so far at the bar. And what is that I want to emphasize is the importance of properly introducing portfolio assignments, because it's very difficult to undo what it has been learned wrongly. This is what I see when I teach undergraduate students how to write, how to present a paper with giving accreditation to the sources and stuff. It's very difficult to undo what it has been wrongly taught in our high schools. My recommendations, it's of course for all the institutions that are involved in education and policymakers and everything else. We need to have explicit guidance on the portfolio assessment work. If we want to still continue with the same procedure of assessment and give 20% of the grade, we need our students to have a clear guidance on it. And as a consequence, we need, after having a certain guidance, even the teachers know how to evaluate more and know how to process this kind of assignment that they deliver to them practically every term. Implied stricter guidance and consequences of academic dishonesty, because for me, when you present something that is not yours and you just say worked by Klodjana, this is called plagiarism in my area. What in high school, why are you legitimizing this, that they say I did this work? Why are you accepting? Why are you even grading such work? So in this way, we are learning them that it's okay to use someone else's work without even giving credit to that. This was my presentation in a few words. I'm sorry if I've taken further time. I never stop talking about academic writing. It's my area this way. Thank you very much.